Hey, what's going on? I'm Vit, and this video is going to be a little bit of a continuation on my video from last week where I was talking about everything I'm excited for in Dawntrail. Well, they just gave me another reason to be excited because just a few days after I published that, they went ahead and dropped the 7.0 benchmark. If you're not familiar with what a benchmark is, it's basically just a program that you can run on your computer to test how well your computer will run the game with the new graphical updates. It runs a rendered in-game cutscene where you can import your character into, as well as create new characters. It's got a fully fledged character creator that lets you create anything, even the new female Hrothgar, and see them in their new 7.0 graphics. I think everything looks great. I've been spending way too much time in here creating characters, and I just want to showcase a bunch of them in this video. I think I made about 15 of them, so we'll see if we get through all of them. I'll try to be quick with some of them, give some thoughts on others, but a lot of them overlap as far as what's changed. It's a lot of textures and skin and eyes and hair, and, you know, things look better, but things also look different, and people have some criticisms that we'll talk about as well. So let's just jump in and talk all about it. All right, so first of all, we have my Viera, and this is the character that I currently play in game. I just imported her straight away. There were some minor differences. Some of the lips, some things about the lips looked a little different. They were a bit bigger than they currently are. They were a bit darker. I was able to change those super easily. Some of the tattoos looked a little more faint here. The bunny noses are maybe a little less defined than they were before. They're still pretty obvious. Still there on every face, every nose, every skin color. The eyes, the hair, it all looks sharper, all looks cleaner. The skin is more natural looking with more reflections and just a smoother look, but also a textured look. I think it looks really good in different lighting conditions. You can see that as I kind of spin the camera around and get different light hitting it. It's just more detailed than it was before in pretty much every way. Some people have complained about things looking a little, I don't know, plasticky, or the characters look like dolls, but I think it's really just an art style choice that they're going for, where it's kind of a mix of realism, but also keeping a modern video game aesthetic. I think if they went too heavy into the realism, well, first of all, it would just be such a departure from what we're used to with our characters, but it would also get into that uncanny valley territory where a lot of these fantasy characters with, you know, very dramatic, non-realistic features would start looking a bit weird if they went too photorealistic. So I think they've struck a good balance between what it currently is and making things more detailed without going too far. Everything still looks pretty much the same, just upscaled, better detail in my opinion. Some things do look different, but I've messed with about 15 characters in here now, and I've found ways to make them all look good. You might need to make minor tweaks here and there to make them look how you remember them, but I've managed to make them all look good one way or another. I haven't been trying to make one-to-one recreations, so you might struggle with that, but overall, I'm super happy with how things look. The hair looks great, the face looks great, skin, eyes, mouth, everything. The gear is also a massive improvement. The Viera gear came out in Shadowbringers with Viera, so it didn't need as big of an update as some of the other races that we'll see shortly. But even so, a lot of the materials just look so much better. And I think that if they did this to all of the gear in the game, that is going to be super impressive. That seems like a massive undertaking with how much gear there is. But I think my Viera looks great. We'll see if I stick with her moving into Dawntrail. There's a lot of other cool options coming up. All right, here we've got the new female Hrothgar. I actually made two of them, one from each different clan. This one's from the Hylanders, which is one of the two. We've also got one from The Lost, which is another. You can pretty much make them whatever color and design that you want. They both share a lot of the same faces, but some of the other features vary between the two different clans. I think I personally prefer this first one. So we're going to hop into the character creator on this, just to show some more of the details and some of the options. But here she is out in the wild, looking strong, looking tough. I really like a lot of the details. The fangs are cool. A lot of the hairstyles are awesome. This race-specific gear is really well designed, in my opinion. A lot of these gold accents are really nice with the new graphical updates. A lot of the textures and the leathery materials are nice. This color scheme's a bit interesting, I thought. Might not be what I would stick with, but I thought it worked for now. We've got a few different faces. If you notice, my UI is kind of cut off here. It's actually because I'm playing on an ultra-wide monitor. So I'm just going to play in normal, so things are a bit more zoomed in for you, but just know that some of the character creator stuff is off screen for you. There are some slightly goofy options like this one with these giant whiskers. You can turn those off as well with the facial features options. You've got a more lion-y one. You've got this strange one with the spikes around the eyes and the whiskers. This one, the one that I'm using here, is the one that felt the most human, if you can even say that. And then you've got this one, which is Khajiit from Skyrim. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't played Skyrim in like 10 years, but I think a lot of them are really cool. This more lion-y one is also really neat. Each face has its own unique hairstyles, which is an interesting choice that they did, and you only get about 5 of them. I can show you the character options here. So you get a few different hairstyle options that you can switch between. And again, these vary with the faces. So hopefully your face has the hairstyle you want, because you're kind of locked in. Of course, you got the new ponytail. But I liked that face, and I liked this hair with the braids. I don't know. You can change the fang length. You can change a bunch of the fur patterns. I thought this one was pretty neat. Yeah, you can make some pretty unique and interesting female Hrothgar. So I'm excited to see what people do with this. There is one more thing that I need to show you, which is the voice. Yeah, that. So get ready for everybody to be spamming this as soon as 7.0 comes out. If I don't hear this in Limsa on day 1, I'm going to be very disappointed. There are actually some really cool voices, though. A lot of them are very feral, which is fitting, so. It works. This cheering voice is just very funny to me. I was losing it when I first heard this. So that's that. Female Hrothgar is pretty sweet so far. All right, next up, we've got a couple of Elezen here. This is actually the character that I played before my Viera, and likely who I'll go back to in Dawntrail, because I think Elezen got a massive upgrade, and they kind of needed it, in my opinion, but they always looked good. I always liked playing them. I've got a few saved here. We've got my Wildwood female Elezen here. We've got the Wildwood male Elezen. He looks really cool. If I was ever to play a male character in this game, it would be him. We've also got the Duskwhite here, who's basically very similar to the first one. We've also got this new hairstyle that I really like, that's shown on the main character in all the trailers. And you'll see that on like probably half of my characters I've made here. I've used this, maybe not half, but a good number of them have this hairstyle. So I'm just here at the character select still, looking through these. We'll go into the actual character creator in a second to show some more detail. But this is my favorite Elezen that I have, and That's not exactly the hairstyle that I use, but we are limited to just a few of the hairstyles. We can't use any of the specialty ones that are available in game that you've like unlocked. So I don't know. The Elezen here just look really nice. Again, it's just textures, eyes, hair. Everything's upscaled. On the gear here, you can really see that this leather gear just got such a nice upgrade. If you've ever seen this gear in game, it's just like an old flat black that has absolutely no texture to it. But here you can see all of the details in the leather, all of the metal parts that look nice and shiny. It just looks worlds better than it did before. One other cool thing about the Elezen that I really like is that the ears, when they're backlit, they actually have that transparent quality to them where you can see the light coming in from behind them. That's new. The ears are also a bit more rounded than they used to be. There's more detail and shadowing going on as well. And overall, I just think they look so much better than they did before. It's not even close. Just so much sharper, so much cleaner, more detail. I'm going to be saying the same thing pretty much about every race in the game, but Elezen have always been one of my favorite, and they're looking better than ever. So strong contender for me, for sure. So next on the list we have Ara. I made one female, one male. I think she looks great. The scales are very well done in my opinion. The horn textures are awesome. People were worried about the limbal rings as well, which are the glowy eye effects that you can turn on. And they actually do look a lot more natural than they used to. Before they were like really defined and like had a super hard cutoff around the iris. And it looked much more cartoony. Here it kind of fades a little more gently, but if you mess with the colors a little bit, you can really get them to pop quite a lot. But even the more natural default eyes look super striking on certain colors with whatever color your character's color scheme is going for. But yeah, like this bony texture, a lot of the metal ear clasps here, all the scales look so much better. One thing that was weird about Ara that myself and some other people have noticed is it looks like they missed a spot when upscaling the textures on the back of the neck here. There's like a very clear neck seam, and above it looks like it didn't get upscaled, so you can kind of see before and after right here. Whoops. Didn't mean to zoom out there. My mouse is going weird. But you can get a idea of how it used to look versus how it looks now. And it's a pretty big upgrade. All of the other spots seem to have been touched up. That's a very minor thing. Hopefully they, realize that that wasn't done and can get to it. But all of the other scales on the Ara have been touched up. The tails have a bit more defined scales on them as well, with a bit more texture. Another thing that they did that I can show on the Ara here, they upgraded the fingers and toes quite a lot. Everything was very pixelated and kind of stubby before. You couldn't really make out fingernails. So that looks a whole lot better on the new models. You also have toes now. Before you just had these big polygonal blocks for feet with, slight lines denotating your toes. So Yoshi P knows his audience added some toes in for good measure. But, for a lot of the sandals and more barefoot type shoes, it always looked really weird with those big blocky feet. So everything overall is just looking way more natural now. We can back out of here and I will show my male Ara, who's nice and edgy, because why else would you play male Ara other than to make a edgy character? Let's see if we can find him in this list. There he is. So he's spiky, he's got red eyes, black hair. I think the eyes are really cool. I went with the limbal rings for him. Here, let's zoom in on the face. The eyes really pop on this one. male Aura were one of the races who desperately needed some texture work, especially in some of the cutscenes throughout the MSQ, but he looks really awesome. The horns look really good, despite the fact that they're going to clip through every single piece of gear in the game, but they look really cool when you're not wearing a shirt, or if you're wearing some low-cut thing, but these kind of like bloody spikes on the end look really good, match the eyes. Probably not a race I would ever play, but he does look cool. Very edgy, if that's what you're going for. So, I don't know. Big upgrade on the aura, in my opinion. The males maybe more so than the female. But the females look good too, so I don't know. I know some people will be complaining about the eyes and the limbal rings, but I think if you do it right, it can look really cool. Here we have red eyes with the black limbal rings. Just kind of matches the theme of this character, but there's a whole lot you can do with it. All the gear looks great, as do all of the other races. And again, toes, fingers. Good stuff overall. Yeah, the aura are cool. Alright, so we're just going to start to speedrun through a few of these. Here you have your Catgirl, Seeker of the Sun. I couldn't really find a way to make a moon cat that I was super happy with. They apparently took away the fangs from them. I'm not really a Catgirl enjoyer. I don't know all the Catgirl meta with, you know, what face to use, what all the details that people are always talking about, but I don't know. I was pretty happy with this one. You won't ever catch me playing a Catgirl, but she looks cute. Yeah, not much else to be said. They're nice and smooth, nice and clean. The textures look good. The hair looks good. Eyes look good. Hopefully they add those fangs back for Mooncat. That seems like quite an oversight for, you know, taking away the defining feature of a race in the game. So I'm sure with enough feedback that should be easy enough to add back in, I would think. But who knows? As of now, Suncat still has their cat eyes and still looking good. So move along here on the list, and we've got Bunny Boy. Not a huge fan of them. They always look a little too emo for me. A little too mopey with their posture, and I don't know. I see the appeal of them. I know why a lot of people like them, but I don't know. I think if I was just to play a male character, Elezen beats them in every way. Sorry, but it's the truth. But they look good, same as the female Viera. I think they needed the least update from any of the races. Again, Bunny Boy just came out in Endwalker, so the most recent race. But it's good to see. Still upgrades to the textures and the metal qualities. Some smoothing on the facial features. Some of the noses are still nice bunny noses. Admittedly, I really don't have enough knowledge on the male Viera to see much of a difference here. Tell me in the comments if there's something drastically wrong with them, because I really wouldn't know. But they look good to me. I think you can still make a cool looking male Viera. Now, this is one that actually surprised me. It has never crossed my mind to ever play a Lalafell. I've just dismissed the idea outright, but upon making this guy, I don't know, he turned out pretty cool. Again, using this new ponytail hairstyle, I think it's fitting. The earrings look good. I can't zoom in any further than this unless I go into Character Creator. I'm trying to move along kind of quickly here, so I'm not going to zoom in on all the little details, but the eyes look good. A lot of the facial features look similar to how they always have, in my opinion. I haven't inspected too many Lalafells. But, you know, they look cute. They always have, and they still do. Especially when you're zoomed out and they're super tiny, you're not going to notice a huge difference, but I don't know. This little guy has made me reconsider the potential to maybe play one for at least a joke in the future. So we'll see. He turned out better than I expected. This one deserves going into the Character Creator for. This is female Roegadyn, and I was very surprised by this one, actually. A lot of the facial features of Roegadyn seem to have been reworked to some degree. They used to be very blocky. You can still get that look, but I don't know. I managed to create one that looked just very nice overall. I think the black hair, the red lips, the red makeup, gray eyes, it just makes a nice contrast, and she turned out way better than I expected. Again, using that ponytail hairstyle. I won't get sick of that. I think it fits on pretty much any character. But Roegadyn's just another character that I never even considered, but I don't know. She's looking real good. I also made a male Roegadyn that I guess we can show real quick as well, who pleasantly surprised me as well. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just sleeping on Roegadyn. I think it's a bit strange just how large they are. I feel like I would have a hard time playing such a big character. But this guy also turned out really cool too. I was kind of going for like this old sagely look where he's got some gray hair, big beard. This hairstyle is just absolutely insane. But I think it really works. The faces are just so well defined. The eyebrows and the hair and everything just looks so like dramatic. And obviously he is an absolute unit. A lot of the muscle textures are pretty smooth. I have the muscle tone turned up a lot, but even so, when you take his shirt off, he kind of looks like a Play-Doh man, which is a little strange, but I don't know. With the gear on, looking pretty good. Again, this gear looks really awesome with a lot of the texture work, a lot of the leathers, and metal all throughout. I really just can't wait to see all of the fancy new gear in this game, but this guy looks really cool. I was surprised. You don't see too many serious Roegadyn. A lot of them are... a lot of people make kind of joke characters with their Roegadyn, where they're just being extra goofy, but I don't know. This guy turned out pretty cool. I could see him being like a really cool monk or something. I don't know. Maybe one day. Okay, and here's another one that's a very specific look. If you're going for it, you've got, you know, Hyur Highlander here. The thing with Highlanders in this game is that they have a very specific look and you can't really get away from it. Like, they have their 4 different faces, or I believe it's 4, and each one has its own look, but there's like, I feel like everyone I see just kind of looks the same. I feel like I made this guy kind of look unique. He's a little more, you know, spiffy than some that you see out there. He looks like he's going to go hang out at the craft brewery and then maybe go play some golf or something. But yeah, I don't know. I think he turned out pretty decent. Another race that I'd probably never play, but yeah, I don't know. It's really not that bad. You can definitely make them look cooler than a Midlander, in my opinion, because when you compare this guy to default John Fantasy over here, I don't know. He looks cool. Midlanders can just kind of look like teenagers, in my opinion. So the Highlanders are kind of what I prefer. But, you know, personal preference and all that. I also made a Highlander female. She's also wearing that same gear. What's cool is that, here, I'll drag this over from off screen. You can actually change whatever gear you're wearing to preview in the rendered cutscene for the benchmark. So, I don't know, we'll put on Lightning's gear here. It's funny because this is actually kind of the character that I started the game on. Same hairstyle and a vase and all that. I think I had a different eye color, but Highlander, even the females, are a very specific look. I think they look good. Midlander females, again, same as the males. They just look a little too young for me. Nothing wrong with them, but I prefer the Highlanders personally. But even so, not my favorite of all the different races in the game. I think for me, I'm just sticking with Elezen, even with their giraffe necks. You just got to wear a turtleneck and, you know, it's not so bad. But I don't know. I think that pretty much sums them all up. For me personally, the Vieira, the Elezen. Even the, what are they called? The Aura, they got pretty good upgrades. The Roegadyns, female Hrothgar, those are just some of the ones that I am most excited about. But I don't know. I think if it's up to me, I'm going back to female Elezen. I think they just win for me. Maybe I'm biased. Definitely biased, but I don't know. Maybe I'll even play Dusky here in Dawntrail. But we will see. I'm interested to see what you guys have made in here. See what your characters look like with the graphical updates. I think I got a pretty good range of characters in here, but again, a lot of them have similar design choices and color schemes and whatnot. So if you're interested, feel free to post a screenshot of your fancy new 7.0 character in our Discord in the screenshots channel. I'd love to see a bunch of them, so that would be really fun, I think. And I don't know. Let me know what you think about these graphical updates. I think it's just a lot of small stuff that's going to add up. And I think once these characters are actually out in the world, it will make a more noticeable change. Seeing them all together in one place and just seeing all the other graphical updates alongside them, because in here, when I was A/B testing some stuff, I don't think they actually changed the backgrounds or the lighting within the character creator itself. They definitely did in the benchmark rendered cutscene, but in the character creator, I think it is just the character models. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but the ears here look really cool. I don't know. I can't get past that. That's something little, but just something nice that is unique to the Elezen. But yeah, I don't know. This has just got me more excited playing with all these characters, making characters, seeing what I want to play, seeing new hairstyles, new graphics, and more. So let me know what you think. Post in Discord your character, and I will catch you in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.